Imaginary friends are fascinating ways the human mind expresses emotion, creativity, and psychological need during childhood. Many children create invisible companions that feel completely real to them in thoughts, conversations, and daily routines. These companions may have names, personalities, emotions, preferences, and even detailed personal stories or histories. To adults, it may seem strange, but for a child, the experience can feel emotionally natural and meaningful. Imaginary friends are far more common than many realize. Psychologists find many children create companions during development. This behavior is usually not a sign of mental illness or psychological instability in healthy children. In most cases, it reflects normal cognitive growth, emotional processing, and imaginative exploration during early life. The human brain develops imagination long before it fully understands reality and social complexity. Children naturally experiment with ideas, emotions, identities, and relationships through pretend play and fantasy. Imaginary friends become extensions of this process, allowing the child to interact with an invented social world. The mind uses imagination to practice understanding emotions, communication, conflict, and companionship safely. Loneliness is one reason some children create imaginary companions. A child alone may develop an invisible friend. The companion provides interaction, comfort, entertainment, and emotional presence during moments of isolation or boredom. For the child, the relationship may genuinely reduce feelings of loneliness in everyday life. Imaginary friends can also help children process emotions they do not fully understand yet. Young children often struggle to express fear, sadness, anger, confusion, or insecurity directly through language. An imaginary companion becomes a safe emotional outlet where difficult feelings can be explored indirectly. The child may project fears, wishes, or frustrations onto the companion instead of carrying them alone internally. In some cases, imaginary friends act as emotional protection during stressful situations. Children experiencing family conflict, divorce, bullying, or instability may rely heavily on fantasy companionship. The imaginary figure creates a sense of comfort, safety, and emotional control in an unpredictable environment. The mind builds connection internally when real-life emotional support feels inconsistent or unavailable somehow. Children also use imaginary companions to experiment with identity and social roles. They may create characters who are brave, powerful, funny, intelligent, or emotionally confident in ways they wish to become. The child explores personality traits through the companion while slowly developing self-understanding and social awareness. Fantasy becomes a psychological rehearsal space for learning how relationships and identity work in real life. One fascinating aspect of imaginary friends is how detailed they can become psychologically. Some children describe specific appearances, voices, habits, and emotional reactions for their invisible companions. The brain can create incredibly vivid internal experiences because imagination during childhood is extremely active and flexible. To the child, the emotional connection may feel just as meaningful as interactions with real people sometimes. Imaginary companions often help children develop communication and empathy skills naturally. By talking to an invented friend, the child practices conversation, emotional understanding, and social interaction repeatedly. The brain learns how relationships function through imaginative dialogue and emotional role-playing during play activities. This process can strengthen creativity, emotional intelligence, and problem-solving abilities over time. Many children use imaginary friends to gain a sense of control over life emotionally. Real-world relationships can feel confusing because adults and other children behave unpredictably at times. An imaginary companion, however, exists within the child's mental control and emotional understanding completely. The child can create comfort, agreement, support, or companionship whenever it feels emotionally necessary internally. Parents sometimes worry that imaginary friends signal emotional problems or social dysfunction in children. In reality, most children with imaginary companions understand the difference between fantasy and reality gradually over time. They know on some level that the friend exists through imagination rather than physical reality externally. The emotional experience still feels meaningful because the brain responds strongly to imagined social connection psychologically. Highly creative children are often more likely to invent imaginary companions naturally. Strong imagination allows the brain to create detailed mental worlds filled with characters, emotions, and stories. These children may also become deeply engaged in pretend play, storytelling, and fantasy-based thinking activities regularly. Imagination becomes both entertainment and emotional expression during important stages of cognitive development. Interestingly, imaginary friends are not always human in form. Some children invent animals, magical creatures, or abstract beings. The companion often reflects the child's interests, fears, emotional needs, or developing personality traits internally. Fantasy allows the mind to shape emotional support into whatever form feels most comforting or exciting psychologically. Imaginary companions can sometimes reveal hidden emotional struggles within a child's inner world. A child may express fears, anxieties, or frustrations indirectly through stories involving the imaginary friend. The companion may become angry, scared, lonely, or worried in ways the child cannot express openly themselves. Adults who listen carefully may gain insight into emotions. The child struggles to communicate directly. As children grow older, imaginary companions usually disappear naturally without intervention or concern. Social development, cognitive maturity, and real-world relationships gradually replace the emotional role fantasy once served internally. The brain becomes more focused on external reality and less dependent on imaginative social interaction over time. Most children eventually stop engaging with imaginary friends without experiencing psychological harm afterward. Some adults secretly maintain forms of imaginary companionship in different psychological ways later in life. Internal dialogues, fantasy worlds, fictional characters, and emotional attachment to imagined scenarios remain psychologically common. The human mind naturally uses imagination to cope with stress, loneliness, uncertainty, and emotional needs throughout life. Childhood imaginary friends are simply one of the earliest and clearest expressions of this mental ability. There is also a connection between imaginary companions and emotional resilience in some children. Children who use imagination creatively may develop stronger coping mechanisms during stressful or uncertain experiences emotionally. Fantasy allows the brain to create comfort, hope, and emotional flexibility during difficult periods of life. The mind uses imagination not only for escape, but also for emotional survival and adaptation psychologically. However, context matters when understanding imaginary companions in childhood development. If a child becomes completely disconnected from reality or severely isolated socially, deeper evaluation may sometimes be necessary. But in most situations, imaginary friends exist as a healthy and temporary part of normal psychological growth. The presence of imagination alone is not evidence of pathology or emotional disturbance automatically. The psychology of imaginary friends reveals how deeply human beings depend on connection and emotional understanding internally. Even from an early age, the mind searches for companionship, comfort, communication, and emotional expression naturally. When reality feels confusing, lonely, or emotionally overwhelming, imagination steps in to fill the gaps creatively. The invisible companion becomes proof that the human mind is always trying to protect, understand, and comfort itself somehow. Imaginary friends ultimately show the incredible power of the developing mind during childhood. They demonstrate how imagination, emotion, memory, and social learning blend together in early human psychology naturally. What adults often dismiss as childish fantasy may actually reflect deep emotional intelligence and psychological adaptation underneath. The child is not simply pretending, but learning how to navigate emotions, relationships, and identity through imagination itself.